So I think back to when the Japanese were starting out as well, and there was as much quality criticism and concern and scapegoating of Japan 25 years ago, 30 years ago, as there is of China today. And how did the Japanese overcome that? Basically, if you are able to produce and develop products that make a difference in people's lives and solve problems that you or I have, then we will come to an appreciation. When Sony comes out with the Walkman, or Toyota comes out with outstanding cars, if we think back to 1970, 1980, those efforts, those contributions on the part of Japanese companies did more for the image of Japan than anything else that could have been done. So I think, what Chinese companies have to do is actually not worry about whether they're Chinese or not,
right,
but worry about how do I provide a product or service that is differentiated and adds sustainable value to customers around the world, in the US in particular, if you wish. If you can't do that, then people aren't going to respect you. But if you can do that, if you can evolve towards doing that, move from being an imitation economy to being an innovation economy, then I think it's going to be perfectly plausible that the image of China is going to change. Of course, there are all sorts of things you can do in terms of soft power and cultural exchange and educational exchange, deepen understanding, more frequent political visitations. All of this kind of thing adds up. But in the final analysis, in a typical household, the products that come from and are associated with a particular country of origin are probably the most important things that shape the image of a particular country. One thing I would say, just as an afterthought, is a lot of countries have had this problem. So, for example, around about 20 years ago, every British company was called British something or other. And now all of those companies are called B something or other. So British Petroleum is now BP, and British Aerospace is now BAE, and British Gas is BG. And why did that happen? It was because Britain had such a terrible reputation for bad labor relations and all sorts of other problems, perhaps a conservative, old-fashioned image in some parts of the world. And these British companies wanted to become global players. They didn't want to be seen as just British companies, but rather as international or global companies. So Chinese companies are going to have to do the same thing. So right now we have all sorts of companies, SOEs, China Mobile, China, all of them. Sinopec, is a little bit better than China Mobile, right? And maybe CNOOC is a little bit better than China Mobile. But, in the final analysis, all of these companies are going to have to de-Sinofy and become international or global brands if they want to play that game. If you look at the top 100 brands on the Interbrand brand list, there are only 2 brands that have any country of origin out of the top 100 in their names. One is American Express, and the other is Swiss Re, the insurance company. And the other 98 have no hint in their names of what the country of origin is. So there's a lesson there. If you want to be global, drop your national name.
Though, of course, many major brands, even if they don't have the country name, profit from the association with the country.
Well, it can be. I mean, obviously, McDonald's, Disney, that you're buying a piece of Americana. I mean, most people would say that when it comes to luxury goods, fragrances in particular, well, I'm not going to buy one from Poland or Hungary, but, something that says Paris or France, I mean, that's probably a good signal that it's a quality item. So even in the global economy, different countries, different places still are associated by many people with excellence in particular product categories, whether it be German cars or Italian men's suits, French fragrances, as we mentioned, and so forth.
Okay.